Hi, I would like to take a moment to talk with you about belief in witchcraft in African indigenous traditions. Now, all over the continent, there is widespread belief in witchcraft. But what is witchcraft? Now, scholars have argued that the idea of witchcraft in Africa is essentially an idea that was brought to Africa by colonizers, because what is described as witchcraft is actually a European version of what colonizers thought witchcraft was. That in Europe, witches were seen as people who gathered in the middle of the night to plot all kinds of evil things against society. And so when they came to Africa, they saw the appropriation of spiritual powers, the use of spiritual powers, the possibility of using spiritual powers in African spirituality as a dynamic of witchcraft as they understand it, as they understood it in Europe. That these use of spiritual powers were essentially to do evil things. But scholars have shown that the use of spiritual powers in Africa is not just to do evil things. People use spiritual powers to do helpful things. Spiritual powers are used to heal people. Spiritual powers are used to protect people. Heck, some people even believe that they can use spiritual powers to play sports well. They can use spiritual powers to run well. They can use spiritual powers to play football well, to win football matches. So now, is that a bad use of spiritual power? So scholars are saying that perhaps we should drop using the term witchcraft because it's a problematic term that does not quite apply to what is going on in many African societies. What is going on in many African societies is that people are able to draw from spiritual powers. They are able to use spiritual powers to do helpful things. But sometimes they can draw from these spiritual powers to do, bad things. And for many colonizers, whenever Africans drew from spiritual powers, it was to do evil things. Because what they did against colonizers, colonizers did not like those things. So they dubbed all of these spiritual activities as evil, which is how witchcraft has come to be something that is essentially evil. And many Africans, even today, continue to think of witchcraft as something that's essentially evil. But perhaps we should start thinking about witchcraft as something that is more complex. It is about the use of spiritual powers to do things, to make things happen.